Back at Newman Outdoor Field, the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks tonight defeat the St. Paul Saints by a final score of 1-0. Jack Michaels behind home plate this evening. And, Doug, you told me in the pregame show tonight the one thing that has been relatively consistent for you, Skip, has been your pitching. We saw it on the road trip to Lincoln, even though you were didn't pick up a win down there. But, Doug, here, St. Paul comes to town, and man alive, Stanton gave you everything he could. Your bullpen came up strong, and defensively, well, the outfielders and the infielders played tonight, Doug.
Well, we have to play like that if we're not going to get a whole bunch of runs. So, I mean, Stanton was going, cruising along, and he got a cramp in his hand, and he had a little blister on it. So I had to lift him out of the game and go the other direction. Benji Waite, guy just picked up off the street. So comes down from Winnipeg, got released. I mean, I was short in the bullpen today. I didn't have but a couple guys, so I had to go with him, and he did a pretty nice job. Even though he walked the guy, he was able to hit his hard sinker, and he got an out that we needed. So Chuddy, just Chuddy, man. He's just going to go out there. He's going to throw strikes. He's got a little deception, keep him off balance. And then Nesteth at the end, I mean, we held our breath a little bit.
Yeah, there's no question. Doug, let's talk about that at the end right there. You got Mike Nesseth that's pumping him in at 90, 92, 95, and he's facing two very dangerous guys, specifically DeFazio and Gak. Doug, what was the game plan against those two great hitters for St. Paul?
I mean, Nesseth has to go with his best pitches, so it's a fastball and a slider. I mean, he's not going to come up with a new pitch there. He's going to go with what he's got, his stuff, and he's going to hope to get on the hitter and get on his hands. He got the ball deep enough to, the ball was hit in the air to the middle of the field, so nothing on an angle. They're going to have a hard time pulling down on him or trying to pull the ball. Got to stay through the middle, and he was able to do that.
Doug, speak to your outfield defense. How nice is it to have a guy like Drew Murin that can track down balls to the alley and left center? We saw him come in and make that catch off Gak's high fly ball, but talk a little bit about your outfield defense, Doug.
Fast runners. I mean, Mazingo's the center fielder by trade. He's over and left. And Murin, I mean, what can you say? He's got plus speed. I mean, he can run around the field, and, we've got to get his bat going a little bit, but he's a good defender with a great arm. He made some magnificent throws on the road, so he's a solid center fielder, and Dunnigan moves pretty good. I mean, he can steal a base. He can do a lot of things with his legs, so that hasn't been our problem, our outfield defense. That's not been it.
Yeah, it was very good tonight, Doug. That's why we had you speak about it here in the game one against this series in St. Paul. And finally, Doug, Joe Bonfils picked up the hitting a little bit the last couple of days. And Joe Dunnigan, I'll tell you what, you needed him to come through, and, Doug, he drives in the eventual game winner for you.
Just got to calm down and just be calm. He's a live wire when he gets in the box. If he calms down, he has a chance to hit it because he can see it.
Doug, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.
All right.
Sold-out crowd tonight at Newman Outdoor Field. The Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks do it. They combine it. It starts with Stanton. It ends with Nesseth tonight. And in between, we saw what Chuddy was able to do, and we saw what Waite was able to do in tonight's game. Let's go back down on the field tonight. And I believe we have down there, and I'll have to look down there on that. I believe, is that Joe Staley down there? See if we get down there for, is that Joe? Joe, how you doing tonight? That's a nice win. This team has been wired in a little bit of not able to score some runs, Joe. Not able to get wins on the board. It's not fun not to win baseball games, Joe, but, well, you're facing the top team in the league, and you and the pitching staff tonight were in unison. Talk a little bit about the hurlers out there tonight, Joe.
Well, Stanton did a great job. I mean, he hit a lot of his spots, kept the ball down. All four of his pitches were working tonight, and I think we got 6 1/3 out of him, which very quality performance. And I mean, you hit your spots, keep the ball down, and you got all four pitches working. You'll shut anybody down. St.
Paul tonight leaves 13 on base in tonight's game, Joe. So talk about what it is that a catcher is going through with his pitchers out there. When there's 2 on, 1 out, 2 on, 2 outs, bases loaded. You really have no room for error. What's going through your mind out there with the pitching staff?
Well, they've got a lot of good hitters, and so we don't want to just chunk anything up there for them to square up, but you play it smart. You look at the bases you have open, see who you've got on deck, and you make your pitches in accordance with that, and we executed tonight, and that's how it turns out.
I talked with Doug about this. Final thing for you, Joe, tonight when DeFazio and Gack, and we saw what Ian was able to do against the RedHawks in that St. Paul series at CHS Field, and DeFazio comes in batting over .430 on the season. So, this is crunch time in the ninth inning. Was it simply just throwing down the old number one and mixing in a number two? Take us through those last couple of at-bats, Joe.
Yeah, well, whenever you've got a guy that's throwing, 94, 95, 96, you tell him to get up there and throw it. And if he keeps the ball down, you really don't have to throw much else. We mix in a slider every now and then, but he did a great job, kept the ball down for the most part. We had the one walk, but he's a power arm up there, and you really can't compete with that.
And you guys come off an all-night bus trip back from Lincoln, Nebraska. Come out tonight and put forth a good game, and half that battery is Joe Staley. Joe, thanks for the time. Get some rest, and we'll see you tomorrow night, Joe.
All right, thank you.
Joe Staley joining us in the postgame show tonight. The RedHawks win it by a final score of 1-0.